Throughout our last few videos on the Wheel of Time universe, you might have noticed that we've started mentioning two Aes Sedai factions. The first being the Sisters of the White Tower, supporting the new Amyrlin seat, Elaida de Avrinia Royhan. The second being the sorceresses who have taken Salidar as their headquarters. In the newest episode on the Wheel of Time, we will talk about how Siuan Sanche was ousted from power, why there was a split in the White Tower, and what Egwene Alvear had to do with it. Moreover, we will reveal how three young women set out on the trail of the dangerous Black Ajah and what they discovered during their pursuit. When Rand and the pursuit group set out from Faldara to retrieve the Horn of Valir and the dagger from Shadar Logoth, Egwene Alvear and Nynaeve Almira set out to Tar Valon with the retinue of the Amyrlin seat, Siuan Sanche, to learn how to discover their full potential. Upon reaching the tower, the wisdom of Emond's Field was elevated to the rank of Accepted, while Egwene began her training, like many other girls before her, becoming a novice. During the 13 weeks she spent training at the White Tower, she managed to master the art of channeling to such an extent that it caused her no problem at all. She also became acquainted with Min, whom she remembered from the inn in Berlin, and Elaine Trekand, daughter heir of Andor, who was sent by her mother for training, according to Andor tradition. Elaine was accompanied by her brothers, Gawain and Galad, who were training to become warders one day. A little later, Egwene and Nynaeve were summoned to speak with Liandrin, who informed the two women that their friends were heading to Tommen's Head and would need their help. Using the ways, Liandrin Sedai guided Egwene, Nynaeve, Min and Elaine to the Westlands. Once there, Liandrin betrayed them, delivering the women to High Lady Suroth and the Seanchan Empire soldiers accompanying her. Elaine and Nynaeve managed to escape, but Min and Egwene were captured. Since Egwene had the ability to channel the One power, she was made into a Damini, a leashed one. The Seanchan Empire, founded by the descendants of Arthur Hawkwing, possessed a hostile attitude towards female channelers. To prevent the manipulations that had taken place during Hawkwing's lifetime, Diane Sedai, a female channeler native to the Seanchan continent, created a Ta'angreal to help control other Aes Sedai. The Adam looks like a collar, connected by a leash to a bracelet, worn by the Suldam, the leash holder. Adamini was completely subservient to her Suldam while wearing a collar, but all those taken on a leash were indoctrinated, mainly through the use of force, to be subservient without Adam as well. While in Falm, Nynaeve and Elaine tried to devise a plan on how to get their friends out of captivity. Together with Min, they managed to capture Seta, one of the Suldam, and seize one of the Adam. When they came across Renna, the Suldam to whom Egwene was subordinate, they captured her, freeing Egwene in the process, who decided to give vent to her emotions and punish Renna for all the time that Alvear had been daminied. When Falm was attacked by Children of the Light, the women tried to flee the town with the help of Baal Domon, but were separated and did not arrive on time to board a ship. Shortly after the clash, all four returned to the White Tower, accompanied by Verin Sedai, Mat and Hurin. Near the White Tower, they were challenged by a group of White Cloaks, but Egwene, using the weaves she had learned in captivity with the Seanchan, dispersed the Children of the Light troops, an action which did not meet with the approval of the sister from the Brown Ajah. Upon reaching Tar Valon, they were summoned to a conversation with Siuan Sanche, during which they told her that Lindarin Sedai of the Red Ajah actually belonged to the Black Ajah, and she was responsible for their absence. The Amyrlin seat explained that she knew about the Black Ajah, and that, in addition to Liandrin, 12 other sisters had joined the Dark One. They left the White Tower, stealing a few Ta'angreals and killing several people, including other Aes Sedai. Siuan further informed the party that she had to publicly punish the women for leaving the tower to cut off speculation that they had collaborated with Liandrin. In return, she elevated Daughter Heir and Egwene to the rank of Accepted. In private, the Amyrlin seat announced to Alvear and Nynaeve that they were to find the Black Ajah, and Verin Sedai would give them information about the known Aes Sedai who had betrayed the White Tower. After speaking with Siuan, the women of Emond's Field shared their task with Elaine, who expressed her willingness to help pursue the Black Ajah. The conversation was interrupted by Elaida, who tried to extract information from the Accepted about their stay outside the tower and what they knew about Rand. Only the intervention of Sheriam Bayanar, Mistress of Novices, and Aes Sedai of the Blue Ajah ended the interrogation. Thereafter, Sheriam took all three to observe Matrim's healing. Not long after her friend was healed, Egwene was summoned by Verin Sedai. the Brown Ajar handed the girl a list with the names of the Aes Sedai who belonged to the Black Ajar. She also told her about being a dreamer and Tel'aran'rhiod, giving her a ta'angreal that once belonged to another dreamer, Corianin Nedil. After leaving Verin's quarters, Egwene was taken by the Mistress of the Novices so that Elvir could take her test for becoming accepted. During one of her assignments, Egwene witnessed that the channeler could be turned to the shadow. After completing the test, Sheriam explained to her that this was possible if 13 Aes Sedai and 13 Myrddraals participated in the ritual. Wanting to unwind what she had witnessed during the test, she met with Nynaeve and Elaine, with whom she later began analysing the information given to them by Verin Sedai. The women noticed that many of the items taken by the escaped sisters from the Black Ajar had previously been examined by Corianin, which gave them the idea that the world of dreams might give them answers. Sometime later, the three of them began investigating items belonging to Black Ajar. Many of these items were connected to the city of Tyr. Suspecting that they might be drawn into a trap by going to this place, Egwene decided to use her ta'angreal in Tel'aran'rhiod to find answers. Visiting Rand and Perrin in their dreams along the way, she finally made it to the Heart of Stone, where she met an old servant woman introducing herself by the name of Sylvie, who showed her Calendor. Soon after, the old woman helped the girl escape the world of dreams. Suddenly, footsteps were heard approaching the sword. All these discoveries gave the women absolute certainty that it was necessary to go to Tyr, even if the Black Ajar had set a trap there. A few days later, Siuan Sanche gave all three of them a silent order to go to the city at the mouth of the Erenin River, also handing them special letters that said the bearer was acting under the permission and orders of the Amelin seat, and was under her personal protection. They gave one such letter to Matrim, whom they asked to go to Caemlyn, and then the women boarded the ship Blue Crane, setting out from Tar Valon. When the ship ran aground, the women went further overland, travelling along the river on the Cahian side. They encountered a group of Maidens of the Spear, including Avienda, Chiad and Bane. The White Tower disciples helped one of the maidens, healing all of her wounds. After leaving the Isles, Egwene, Nynaeve and Elaine were abducted by the Dark Friends, led by Myrddraal. They were rescued by the Maidens of the Spear and several other Isle they had met earlier, including Ruark. After their release, they boarded a ship named Data in a small village called Juren, and from there went directly to Tyr. Upon reaching the city, Nynaeve was able to find a Tyran wise woman, Alhuin Gwenna, who was called Mother Gwenna, with whom the White Tower students decided to stay. The woman instructed them to hire a thief catcher to help them find the alleged thieves. She brought Juilin Sandar to the women, to whom they described the women they were to find, pointing out that they were very dangerous, deliberately omitting the information that they belonged to the Black Ajar. Sometime later, Juilin met Nynaeve at the market and informed her that he had found the women he sought. Leading the former wisdom of Emond's Field, he drew her into a trap set by Liandrin and other Aes Sedai, who took all three women to the Stone of Tyr. Beaten during her capture, Egwene woke up in a cell inside the fortress, noting in the process that she was shielded from the One Power. Taking advantage of Tel'aran'rhiod, Elvir found Joya Beer there and shielded her, rendering the woman unable to awaken. She then set out to find the Aes Sedai, who held her shield. Finding Amiko Nagayan, she cut her off from the source, but that didn't result in Egwene being able to channel again in the real world. She wanted to go to the world of dreams again, but at this point she was rescued by Mat Calthon and Juilin Sandar, who decided to atone for his betrayal. The gambler and thief catcher also freed Elaine and Nynaeve, who struck Amiko, making Egwene's shield disappear. After Rand captured Calendor and declared himself officially Dragon Reborn, all three met with Moiraine, where they received a letter from Lanfear, brought to them by Berelain, in which the Forsaken promised that Rand would return to her in due time, and they were to make sure nothing happened to him. While in Stone of Tyr, Egwene, Elaine and Nynaeve pretended to be full-fledged Aes Sedai. They also began interrogating the captured Black Ajar. They revealed to them that Liandrin was planning to free Mazrim Taim and declare him Dragon Reborn. In addition, they told him to go to Tanchico, the capital of the Tarabon Kingdom, because there was something there that could be a threat to Rand. That something was the Domination Band, the only known copy of Adam, which could be worn on a channeling man and function identically to the collars the Seanchan Empire used on the Damini. They interrogated the Black Ajar for the next few days, then sent them back to Tar Valon. Wanting to help herself before heading to Tenchiko, Egwene entered Tel'aran'rhiod and began searching the Panarch's palace, finding many strange artifacts. Suddenly, Alvia found herself on the Isle Waste, where she noticed that a Maiden of the Spear was watching her. Having returned to Tenchiko, after a while she was again in the Threefold Land. The Isle woman who pulled her from Tenchiko was Amis, the Isle Wise One, who invited Egwene to join her if she wanted to learn how to cope in Tel'aran'rhiod. After waking up, Moiraine informed the Accepted that Joya and Amiko had been killed under unexplained circumstances. Egwene told her sister from the Blue Jar that she was leaving for the Isle Waste, receiving information in response that Moiraine was also leaving for Rhuidean. When Egwene set off to meet the White Ones, Elaine and Nynaeve planned to move towards Tenchiko. Lady Damodred suggested they enlist the help of the Sea Folk. She also gave them letters, giving the women the opportunity to benefit from large sums of money. A sister from the Blue Jar made Tom Merrilin accompany the Wisdom and Daughter Heir. The expedition to Tenchiko was strengthened by Duelin Sandar, who joined at the request of Lam Mandragoran and the Dragon Reborn. According to Atha'anmere tradition, a Windfinder can decide whether to allow Aes Sedai on board. Windfinder from the Reika Wavedancer during Dinjabai Whitewing agreed to take on board Elaine and Nynaeve. During the 10-day trip to Tenchiko, the White Tower adepts met with Egwene in Tel'aran'rhiod to discuss what happened on the Isle Waste and Althor's plans. Upon reaching the capital of Tarabon, Elaine and Nynaeve met Bail Domon. The captain told them why she had sailed from Falme without them, offering to help them find lodging in return. The women decided to take advantage of Domon's smuggling skills and hired him to help hunt the Black Ajar. While in Tenchiko, the women met Egyanin Sana. The woman was sent in pursuit of the Suldams who had escaped during the attack on Falme. The truth about Sana came to light when Bail Domon recounted how he had been captured by her at Falme when she was captain of the ship, but despite this, a sort of friendship developed between her and the Accepted. Enlisting the help of Domon and Sana, the Wisdom and Daughter Heir learned that the Black Ajar were planning to get into Panarch's palace using one of the Dark Friends, the White Cloak Questioner, Lord Commander Jaichim Caridin. The women decided to take advantage of their new acquaintance, and with the help of Egyanin, got into the palace. Elaine and Sana decided to find the former from the Grey Ajar, who tortured the current Panarch, Amathera Elfdini Casmir Lunalt. At the same time, Nynaeve went to the palace museum to get a Mir Ladam. There she encountered Lilin Moiril, better known as the Forsaken Lughedian. During a duel with the One Power, Nynaeve proved superior, but Jane Kaid, one of the Black Ajar, helped the Forsaken escape using Ter'angreal, which created a balefire. The Domination Band, however, remained in the hands of the Wisdom. After escaping from the palace, the Panarch, Elaine, Nynaeve, Tom and Duelin decided to head overland towards Amadicia, while Bail and Egyanin promised to take the bracelets and throw the Mir Ladam into the deepest abyss of the Arith Ocean. The group's destination was Saladar, a small abandoned village in Altara, located on the border with Amadicia. In this place, the Aes Sedai who opposed the Elida established their headquarters. Here we must ask the question, how did the split in the White Tower happen? Elida Duavrinia Royhan, along with 11 sitters, was not happy with the decisions made by Amyrlin Seat Siuan Sanche. Bending the White Tower's law, stating that more than half of the sitters must attend the sitting for it to be a valid assembly, the decision was made to remove Siuan Sanche from power. In addition, the Amyrlin seat was stilled and imprisoned in the dungeons. When the news of Siuan's overthrow and the election of Elida as the new Amyrlin seat spread, chaos ensued. In addition, Elida issued a decree which excluded the Blue Ajar from the Hall of the Tower. All of the sisters of that Ajar, as well as most of the sorceresses of the Green Ajar, left Tar Valon. The remaining Ajar, with the exception of the Reds, split almost equally. In total, about 330 sisters left the tower, including Siuan Sanche, who escaped with the help of Min and Laris, the White Tower cook. Together with them, Loghain Blah, the defeated and gentled false dragon, escaped prison. However, Gawain Trakand, who was staying at the tower at the time, did not help in the escape. Seeing Elida's actions as right, he went against his mentors, Hammer and Kulin, both swordmasters, killing them and becoming the leader of the so-called Younglings. The Aes Sedai who had moved to Saladar organized themselves in the same manner as before the schism in Tar Valon. Until the election of the Amyrlin seat, the leadership position was assumed by Sheriam Bayanar. Besides her, the other prominent Aes Sedai were Anaya of Blue Ajah, Miriel Berengari of Green Ajah, who took over as Captain General, Bayanin Marinai of Grey Ajah, Morvrin of Brown Ajah, and Kalinia of White Ajah. The Salidar Six, as they were called by some, held leadership positions until Swan Sanche arrived in the settlement. The deposed Amyrlin seat suggested that the rebels form their own Hall of the Tower and elect their own Amyrlin seat to add legitimacy to their cause. The Hall formed 18 Aes Sedai, 3 from each Ajah except Red Ajah. None of the women from the Salidar Six became sitters, not to stir up unnecessary rumours, but Sheriam was proposed as a candidate for the Amyrlin seat. However, the former Mistress of Novices refused to join the election, becoming Keeper of Chronicles. After much discussion among the 6 rebel leaders, the Amyrlin candidate, later approved by the rebel Hall of the Tower, was Egwene Alvear, due to her absence from the White Tower during the Schism, and her potential for channeling the One Power. In addition, there were more mundane reasons. The Salidar Six did not want Lalaine Akashi of Blue Ajah and Ramanda Kassin of Yellow Ajah to take the title of Amyrlin seat, and the young and inexperienced accepted would be someone who could be easily controlled. In time, it became clear that the girl from Two Rivers would be a difficult puppet to control. The establishment of structures in Salidar identical to those in place in Tar Valon buried any chance of reuniting the Aes Sedai, and put the two factions on the path of open conflict. A clash was inevitable, and the Black Ajah, occupying important positions on both sides of the conflict, were expected to work against everyone. To see who betrayed in favour of the Dark One, and how the White Tower reunited, please consider liking, commenting and sharing, it helps immensely. Our videos would be impossible without our kind patrons and YouTube channel members, whose ranks you can join via the links in the description to know our schedule, get early access to our videos, access our Discord and much more. More videos on the Wheel of Time series are on the way, so make sure you are subscribed and have pressed the bell button to see them. This is the Wizards and Warriors channel, and we will catch you on the next one.